judges don't usually get standing ovations. The only thing that we usually hear is, "You did what?" And then they publish it all over the paper. Well, and the way we usually work things when we're campaigning, and we run statewide, is wherever we go, they'll start off with the top of the ticket, the governor, lieutenant governor, then they work through the legislative candidates, and typically, then they get to the judicial candidates. Now, the problem with that is, somewhere along the line, you run into someone ahead of you that preaches, like Brian Hughes. And he's not even a preacher. Then you get the real preachers, and then you get this is the first time, quite frankly, Mark, that I've had to follow a song and dance routine.
Don't worry, Justice, I voted for you.
Okay. But, so anyway, it's a pleasure for us to be here. My wife, Carla, and I just feel right at home with this group. And the problem with following these outstanding legislators who have something they're going to do and a bill they're going to introduce, and they can go do things. When you get to be a judge, your platform is pretty simple. We're going to be a neutral arbiter of those cases that come in front of us. That means we don't advocate for anybody. Number two, we want to appear to be neutral. We don't want to go out and say things that have somebody thinking that we're going to take one side or the other, because then we get recused. But number three, let me say, and this is the most important part, what we do is very important, because we come in behind this legislation that is passed by the people that are elected, that reflect the judgment of this state on how we want our laws to be. And we come in behind those and we interpret those. We measure them first. As the representative said, we measure them first against the Constitution, because that's what all of us vote on. We vote on the Constitution. We adopt its amendments. So we are the supreme lawgivers in this state. So we measure anything the legislature does against that. Then we come to the legislation, and we look at it, and what we look at is for the intent of the legislators, because we want to effect that intent. And what we say is what it is. And if you get the wrong kind of court, wrong kind of judges, you can really mangle some of that legislation. Now, in all fairness, some of the legislation is not exactly clear. It got mangled on its way out the door. And we have to try to figure out some very interesting things. But I will say this, I'm privileged to serve on the Supreme Court, that I can tell you the spiritual condition of the judges there is something I am comfortable with, and they fit Texas just fine. It's a pleasure for me to be here.